Looking to find out what's happening on the NDSU campus? Watch Bison Information Network News every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday on Cable 1 Channel 70. This student-run weekly newscast covers relevant news and current events, entertainment, Bison sports, and more. Watch BIN News Fridays at 9 p.m., Saturdays at 9 a.m. and 9 p.m., and Sundays at 9 a.m. on Cable 1 Channel 70.
Bison Information Network News is brought to you in partnership with Cable 1.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of X's and O's Reloaded. I'm Joe Thompson.
And I'm Isak Dinesen.
And we're going to be talking a lot about professional sports today. It's obviously Super Bowl week, so we're going to be talking about the Super Bowl, Rams versus Patriots, in just a little bit. But first, the biggest news story in the sports world today, I think, was the whole situation with Anthony Davis requesting a trade from the New Orleans Pelicans.
I'd say so. Definitely surprised when I got that notification from Woj on Twitter this morning.
For those of you who don't know, earlier today, Anthony Davis's agent contacted some sources and said that Anthony Davis won't be signing an extension with the Pelicans,
New
New Orleans Pelicans, and has requested a trade at some point.
And the trade deadline's coming up, so teams are going to be lining
very
up
soon,
chomping at the bit to try to get this megastar. He's been a fantastic player ever since he's come into the league, and now he's realizing his situation where he has not been surrounded by very much talent at all, and now he wants out and wants to actually be on a winning team.
Yeah, so there as you can see, agent contacted the Pelicans earlier today. Davis will not sign the extension, requested the trade. There's rumors going around that say the Lakers are going to be the team that he most likely wants to get traded to. The problem is the Lakers are going to have to give up a premium haul to get Anthony Davis.
I'd say so. They have a lot of young players on their roster that I don't think they necessarily want to part ways, even though you are getting a superstar in return like Anthony Davis, a guy that is so versatile. He's so good on offense. He's such a threat on defense as well. But it's just a matter of, are you willing to give up your young assets like Brandon Ingram and Josh Hart, those other guys that may be involved in a trade?
Ball.
Possibly. They did.
His name was brought up.
They did draft him very high, but his performance has not been what the Lakers would have wanted to at this point in his career.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it's just a matter of, are the Lakers going to be willing to part ways with some of their younger guys to be able to put themselves in a situation where they can win closer to now while LeBron's still playing at the level he is when he's healthy.
Do you think there are other teams other than the Lakers that have a shot at getting Anthony Davis in a trade?
I think if the Pelicans were smart, they'd try to trade him to the East. But the problem with the Eastern Conference is very top-heavy, and there are already a lot of established rosters there that they're kind of controlling the conference right now, and everybody else is either just really bad or just kind of average. Yeah. And I don't really see the other teams that are average in the East making a bid for Anthony Davis. I did see the New York Knicks surrounding as a possible trade option, as just a possible trade option, not even like a front runner or anything. The Knicks are not very good this season, and they're the second worst team in the Eastern Conference, and they've been dealing with their own issues as well. So it's just the Lakers they have the most attractive trade situations other than the Boston Celtics. The Celtics have a lot of good young assets, but the problem is I don't think they can trade for him because of a certain rule. I have to read more into this issue a little bit more, but I don't think the Celtics can trade for him, so I think it might just be Lakers and everybody else that wants him.
Wants to get him. And then let's move ahead to the actual standings in the NBA. We haven't really talked much about the NBA so far during X's and O's. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Eastern Conference. The top seed right now is the Milwaukee Bucks, followed pretty close behind by the Toronto Raptors.
Actually tied for first by terms of
game.
Yep. Just the Bucks have played fewer games.
Yes, and then at third is the Indiana Pacers, although they did lose their superstar in Victor Oladipo. Followed in fourth by the Philadelphia 76ers. Boston hovering 5.5 games back of the Bucks and the Raptors in fifth. Followed by the Brooklyn Nets. That's a pretty big surprise.
Didn't expect that coming into the year, and then you see the rest of the Eastern Conference is either average or not very good at this point in the season.
Yeah, seventh seed right now at the time of this recording is Miami Heat, sitting at 500, and then 8th is the Charlotte Hornets, who are 2 games below 500. And then what do you really make of this Eastern Conference so far? I know you're saying it's really like top heavy, but between the, let's say, top 5, I think those are the most competitive teams in the Eastern Conference. Which of those 5 do you think comes out on top in the East?
It's probably going to come down to either the Bucks or the Raptors, at least for the moment.
Yeah.
The Celtics have been mired. Their season's right now been mired by their early season slump. They kind of took a long time to get things going, and now only recently they're starting to show the type of roster that they are. The Celtics are going to be a scary team down the road, but right now I think it's just basically it comes down to the Bucks are as good of a team. They're actually, I think, the best team in the NBA right now by winning percentage. And it just comes down to being able to stop Giannis Antetokounmpo, and not many teams have been able to do that so far this season. He's been amazing this year. And he really only has like one move in his game, and that's just pretty much get to the basket and score, because he doesn't have a jump shot yet. That area of his game hasn't been completely refined yet. And then for the Raptors, Kawhi Leonard and that well-oiled machine they have up there in Toronto, it's very hard to count them out too.
There's been rumors going around all season that Kawhi Leonard to the Raptors is only almost like a 1-year rental sort of thing. Do you think he could stick around long term if they make a deep playoff run?
You know, we almost thought the same kind of thing that Paul George was going to leave Oklahoma City last year for the Lakers, or at least that was his preferred, according to him, that was his preferred place where he wanted to go to possibly after last season. But the Thunder made the playoffs, and Paul George really liked playing with Russell Westbrook, that he basically decided to stay, and Russell Westbrook threw him a pool party, or I think was the case, and he decided to sign a big extension, and so now they're together still in Oklahoma City tearing it up, as we'll talk about that in a little bit. But nonetheless, I actually, it's not ruled out. I don't think it's ruled out that Kawhi Leonard's going to stay long term. With the player movement in the NBA, it's so unpredictable. You never know where anybody's going to go at any given time. Who would have thought that, after the Cavs won their championship a few years ago, that LeBron was going to leave Cleveland and go to the Lakers? Yeah,
that's a very good point. But now that LeBron's out of the East, it's been pretty much a dogfight for those who keep losing to LeBron, a.k.a. the Raptors, in the second round every playoffs. But why don't we just go ahead and move along to the Western Conference right now? That's been the most dominant conference for the last few seasons. At top, no surprises here, is the Golden State Warriors. But the surprise, in my opinion, is the number 2 seed, as of right now, is the Denver Nuggets. I knew they had talent, obviously, but they're still pretty young, pretty unproven as of right now.
Probably, and as long as as that core sticks together, they're going to have more wins in their time together, I'd say.
Yeah. And then, as we mentioned earlier, Oklahoma City Thunder doing a very good job this season and currently in the 3rd seed. Follow just a couple games back, record-wise, the Portland Trail Blazers at 4. The Houston Rockets, I think, has been one of the more disappointing teams this year.
They've been playing better as of late, however. James Harden's been on an absolute tear for the Rockets.
Chris Paul's been out for a few games, so he's kind of back in them. And then we got the Spurs after that, followed by the Jazz and the LA Clippers, which is, again, another surprise because the Clippers, they've been a few years removed from Lob City at this point, but they're still fighting for a playoff spot as of right now. What do you kind of see with the Clippers right now?
I mean, just with the bottom of the Western Conference playoff picture in general, it's been kind of topsy-turvy. Everybody's been kind of within. There was a time before the Warriors got really good and got DeMarcus Cousins back that the 14th place team in the Western Conference and the 1st place team in the Western Conference were only like 8 games apart from each other. The Western Conference has been very, very unpredictable this season, and so really, with the Lakers, they're not even in the playoff picture right now. The Clippers are. So it's just a matter of, I'm not going to answer the question directly about the Clippers because I don't know too much about them, but just the fact that everybody's been so close the entire first half plus of the regular season so far. And the fact that it's still kind of staying that way. And also with the New Orleans Pelicans, you just mentioned Anthony Davis wanting a trade. Yeah. We didn't put them up we did put them up on the graphic. We didn't mention them, but they're 6 games back of a playoff spot right now.
Yeah.
And that just proves that, you still need talent. You can't just have, one or two guys in this league. Mm-hmm. That's what the teams at the top have. Golden State has their super team. The Nuggets have a plethora of young players that they really like. Oklahoma City has a good core, good nucleus. Portland the same way. Houston. You got to have a good, solid foundation, and that's what the teams in the playoffs currently have, most of them right now.
Do you think that if the Pelicans do end up trading Anthony Davis at the deadline, do you think they'll go on a complete fire sale and just tank the rest of the season, try and get a top draft pick?
I think it's probably worth it for them in that sense. We see a lot of teams in the Eastern Conference are kind of shooting the season a little bit here. They're not really doing too much. They're not really. They're kind of saying to the rest of the league, okay, we're not going to be competitive this season. We're just trying to, we know that we're not good enough to compete right now. I think with the Pelicans being where they are, 13th in the conference, and only going to drop if they lose Anthony Davis, and they're also not really going to do anything much with him. I think they probably should try to, just get some assets back and. Just reload for the future. And really, in general, who's going to compete anyway when the Golden State Warriors have proven to be what they are, and also adding a superstar level player in the offseason that only needed a few months to recover from an injury.
And they got him for dirt cheap too.
$5 million for the mid-level exception.
Yeah.
You can't, and there's nothing that you can do about that.
Yeah. So just we'll have a little bit of fun here. Let's say the playoffs for the NBA started right now with these top 8 teams in both the East and the West. Who comes on top, and who's going to meet in the finals if the playoffs ended right now between these 16 teams, East and West?
It'd be nice to see. Regardless, we're going to get a new team out of the East.
Yeah,
now that
finally.
LeBron's gone, there's going to be someone else coming out of the East that's not a LeBron-led team. But right now, the Golden State Warriors, they're penciled in already.
That's a shoo-in.
It didn't look like it at first when they were struggling a little bit in November and December, but they did kind of struggle out the gate.
Yeah.
They did have some chemistry issues. They were losing some games. They had that thing with Draymond Green and Kevin Durant.
Yeah, had some injuries too.
They did have some things to deal with there.
Yeah.
Steph Curry was out for a little bit of time, but in the Eastern Conference, it's hard to count out either the Bucks or Raptors, like I said earlier. And, Canada hasn't really had much basketball success. They lost the Vancouver Grizzlies. The Toronto Raptors have been a perennial disappointment in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Why not reward their fans with an NBA Finals appearance?
I think that'd be cool.
Even if they lose, which they probably will in like 5 or 6 games, that's still pretty nice. You have this foundation, and if they're able to get to the NBA Finals and win a couple games against the Warriors, that's big for your organization moving forward.
So you think with the way the Lakers are now, with LeBron still out with an injury, if they don't make the playoffs or if they have an early exit in the playoffs, how is that going to affect the way people watch the NBA playoffs without LeBron?
It would be weird. I don't think viewership, I take that back. I think viewership, now that LeBron would be out of the playoffs in that instance, he's the league's most popular player, I think, by far still. Maybe not by far, but I think he still is the league's most popular player. It's kind of weird to think that, somebody like him, if the Lakers were to continue this trend and LeBron stays out, which has not really happened too much in his career.
This is the first injury I've really noted of his.
Right.
Really.
If he stays out, then I think the playoff viewing would take a bit of a hit just because of a player of his caliber being out. But I don't think the Lakers are going to miss the playoffs. Yeah. LeBron should be back, and the Lakers might even add Anthony Davis into the fold to give themselves a better chance to compete in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's all interesting to see. We'll see what happens as the rest of the season moves on. But we're going to go ahead and take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to discuss the Super Bowl and see what we think is going to come out on top in that game when we come back.
Conveniently located across the street from NDSU's campus, Herd and Horns is the place to go, whether you're looking for a fantastic meal or just a quick bite to eat.
Hi, welcome to Herd and Horns. Are you from
the NBA this year?
With friendly staff and excellent service, it's a restaurant for all ages. Herd and Horns, your home for great food and Bison sports. Welcome to Bison Block. If you are an NDSU student, you know it well. It's located right across the street from campus. How would you like to live in the same building as Starbucks, Jimmy John's, and Herd & Horns? Bison Block offers high-quality apartments at a very affordable price. For more information, go to our website at bisonblockfargo.com to apply today.
Welcome back to X's and O's Reloaded, and we're going to move ahead. We talked about the NBA.
Oh, what's that music I'm hearing? Is it somebody's birthday? Hey, it's this guy's birthday today. It's Joe Thompson's 21st birthday today.
Oh, wow.
Happy birthday, big guy.
Thank you very much. This was totally not planned. I was not expecting this at all.
Surprise!
Well, thank you very much. Did you?
I didn't know about this either, but
Oh,
hey,
well-
we're just going along with it, and we're celebrating you today.
Well,
Congratulations.
I appreciate that, but let's focus on more important things. The Super Bowl.
Yes.
Rams versus
Yes.
Patriots. If you watched mine and former sports director Eric Bennell's picks on X's and O's while we were in Frisco, you know we were completely wrong on a good portion of our picks. But hey, that's life.
Turns out both 2 seeds made the Super Bowl and not both 1 seeds.
Yeah.
Which,
but
I think you guys both had both the 1 seeds in the Super Bowl.
I believe I had Chiefs Saints.
Yep, and those are both the 1 seeds.
So yeah. But anyway, talk to me a little bit about this game and what are your thoughts on it so far?
So with the way things are looking right now, I don't know how separated the 2 teams are in terms of like who's an underdog, who's not an underdog in this game. But I'm just going to start out with my most important factor in this game, and it's going to come down to whether if the Rams are going to win, which they have a very good chance of doing, it's going to be because of Aaron Donald.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be because of Aaron Donald. He's the most important player on the field, I think, in this game because he's an absolute game wrecker. He had an amazing season this year. He might win Defensive Player of the Year. He had
Maybe
20
even
and a half.
MVP.
He had 20 and a half sacks as an interior lineman.
That's really hard to do.
That's impossible. That's unreal. That's
Not even-
superhuman.
Not even John Randall could do that.
Oh no, and like he's one of the best defensive tackles of all time, but he had like 20 and a half sacks, 25 tackles a loss, and the other 2 defensive tackles that were noteworthy on the Rams, Ndamukong Suh and Michael Brockers, combined for 8 tackles for loss. Aaron Donald had 3 times that amount between the production of 2 players. Aaron Donald, if he has a good game, the Rams are going to be in a good position. However, on the other side, Tom Brady has been outstanding again for the Patriots this season. You know, who would have thought that he would have had a great season this year, right? You know,
It's unbelievable.
he had 29 touchdowns this season, 11 interceptions, and he only got sacked 21 times in 16 games. In the regular season.
It's honestly crazy the way.
And he also
Tom
hasn't
Brady
been sacked in the
performs.
playoffs, by the way, either. So if the
Got a
Patriots
clean jersey.
if the Patriots continue to keep Tom Brady's jersey clean, you can't doubt the Patriots as well in this game either. It's going to be that matchup between Aaron Donald and the Patriots offensive line. Whoever matches up against them, whoever has the most success. I think the team that owns that either player or group of players will win the game.
Yeah. I think you bring up a good point there about Tom Brady. It's as much as annoying as it is to see him in yet another Super Bowl.
For the 3rd straight year, guys.
3rd straight year in 9th overall.
And he's been to 8 consecutive AFC Championship games, and he's been to 9 Super Bowls now. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, you just gotta be impressed with that.
Gosh,
We go to NDSU, obviously.
Right.
We're used to going to championships a lot. So seeing someone be as consistent as the New England Patriots, as consistent as Tom Brady has been, at 41 years old, he has shown no signs of slowing down.
Not only that, it's a salary cap league too.
Yeah.
So players are supposed to be drafted, and if they become good, they're going to want more money. And the Patriots they work through everything that comes their way, all the players that come into their system and leave, and they got to get different guys, and they all buy into the system, and They just keep coming back. It doesn't make any sense how they're able to keep doing this in a salary cap league. Just the consistency of the Patriots is never going to be matched by another organization, I don't think.
I think when you talk about salary caps, I think one of the biggest things that you can point out is that Tom Brady, he's never been a guy who's been after the big contracts. He's always taken, he's been worth hundreds of millions of dollars for pretty much his whole career. And he's taken pay cut after pay cut after pay cut just to keep the team the way it is. It's just so impressive the way that he's doesn't care about the money. He just cares about winning.
And they just keep getting guys around him that are just able to, do exactly what the Patriots want to do. I mean, they spent a first-round pick on a running back, Sony Michel, and he did have his ups and downs this season, but he almost had 1,000 yards in the regular season. And James White had 87 catches. 87 catches. These guys, and Julian Edelman missed the first 4 games of the season. He had 74 catches, and he's a vital part of their success. And these aren't the same guys, not other than Michelle, but they still feed other role players in there that are just able to make the correct plays at the correct times, and they're just able to keep going in the playoffs, and it's just a testament to the player development and depth that the Patriots have.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. And then I think we can move ahead here to focus a little bit on coaching. Obviously, we got the Patriots and Bill Belichick. He's been in the NFL for
decades.
Decades at this point.
He was the head coach of the Cleveland Browns before they went to Baltimore.
Yeah, he won 2.
That's how long he's been. That's how long he's been around the game. He was a coordinator for the Giants
when they won their first 2 Super Bowls with Bill Parcells. He coached Lawrence Taylor.
Yep. He's an old man, but he's very wise, as has clearly been displayed.
The elder statesman in NFL coaching. And then you got Sean McVay, one of the biggest hotshot coaches in the NFL at only 33 years old.
He's as old as Julian Edelman. They played against each other in college. That's been the most popular thing I've seen on social media since the championship weekend. But that's insane.
People like Sean McVay so much. It's basically with NFL coaching hires now. If you even walked past Sean McVay in a hallway, you're going to get hired as an NFL head coach. That's how much people love Sean McVay. When you look at those 2 coaches, obviously you got to give experience to Belichick over in Super Bowls. But when it comes to styles of play, who do you give the edge to?
The Rams in the regular season had one of the best offenses in pro football, but the Patriots were right there too.
Yeah.
And Sean McVay, with the way they started the season, that hot shot type of football, the air raid, just throwing the ball down the field and running the ball in between the tackles with Todd Gurley. That captivated the NFL this season.
Absolutely.
Jared Goff, 32 touchdowns, 12 picks. Todd Gurley, 1,251 yards, and even missed the last 2 games of the regular season. He had 21 total touchdowns.
Yeah.
And guys like Robert Woods are getting 86 catches in a season. With the players that they have on their offense, it's kind of similar. They don't have, other than Todd Gurley, really, they don't have any genuine superstars, really, I'd say, other than Gurley on their offense.
Yeah. I mean, Brandon Cooks is not what he was when he was on the Saints.
But he's not regarded as a high-profile type player.
Yeah, I agree with that there. And then moving ahead, we went a little, before we started recording, we went over a little bit of the injury reports. Rams are dealing with a little bit of minor setbacks, both of their kicker and their punter.
But neither of them should be.
They should be ready to go,
competing on their ability to play in the Super Bowl. And the Patriots are less affected by the injury bug, to say the least.
We looked at their active roster when the website I looked at, as of January 25th, they had no injuries on their injury report.
Yep.
Minus the people that are either on the practice squad or are on injured reserve.
Yep.
But when you look at who's going to be the healthier team, obviously the Rams, their kickers should be good to go. C.J. Anderson, who's been a pretty remarkable story these last few games.
He was listed on their injury report last Friday. He's a little nicked up, but he's probably fine.
He should be good to go.
The Rams should really hope that Todd Gurley is healthy in this game.
I think that's a great point. He's been sort of off on the wayside a little bit. He had a good game against the Cowboys in the divisional round. He had like very few carries.
4
carries
against the Saints.
4
carries, 10 yards, and a touchdown.
I think if the Rams want to do a ton of damage to the Patriots defense in the Super Bowl, Todd Gurley needs to have a game in which he's done for most of the season before his injury. He needs to go back to Todd Gurley form. If he doesn't do that, it's gonna be tough to rely on Jared Goff. Even though I think he's a good quarterback, he's one of the best up-and-coming quarterbacks in the league. I don't know if you can fully trust him in a scenario such as the Super Bowl.
I fully agree with you there. Todd Gurley, being the type of player that he is, he creates a lot of gravity on the opposing defense.
Yeah.
Jared Goff was not very. He was good.
Yeah.
He was serviceable. He was only fine in the first 2 playoff games. He only had passer ratings of 74.4 and 83.5. The best passer rating you can have is 158.3. Mm-hmm. So that's telling you that he's only been like an average to slightly above average quarterback so far.
Serviceable, like we said.
In the playoffs for the Rams in their 2 games. But with Todd Gurley, I think to take the pressure off the Patriots pass rushers, because they got guys on their defense that can get after the quarterback, like Trey Flowers, for instance. He's got a team leading 7.5 sacks, and a bunch of other players, like I mentioned in our video last week. They have guys that can get after the quarterback. They don't have a lot of volume in terms of numbers, but they are good at keeping people out of the end zone. Like I mentioned also last week, the Patriots, a top 10 scoring defense in the NFL this season, which not many people were really talking about coming into conference championship weekend, but it's just a matter of Todd Gurley, can he get going against the Patriots defensive line, and also the Patriots corners ability, like Daron Harmon, his 4 interceptions in the regular season that led the team. Can they find a Malcolm Butler type player that can make a big play if they need it in this game?
Yeah, and really quickly before we sort of wrap this up, who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl this year?
I gotta go Patriots. I have to go Patriots because they lost last year to the Philadelphia Eagles, and I think that's going to play a lot into this game. Them losing last year the way they did, they had a chance to tie the game, but Brady got strip sacked by Brandon Graham as they were driving down by 8 points. I think you have to give the edge to the Patriots.
Yeah.
They're so hungry for their 6th ring, which all of them have come since the new millennium, which is just of course
Congratulations, Boston.
It's just of course what we all need. Boston winning another championship, am I right? But but anyway, I think it's just, while the Rams have a lot of talented pieces and they're all going to be around for many years with all the free agency spending they had last year, it's just you can't hold down teams have not been able to hold down the Patriots so far. And the Chiefs tried as they could. The Chargers couldn't get off to as good of a start as they could have, as they probably should have. But I'm stumbling for words because I got nothing. Yeah. Patriots, you can't really say much else.
I completely agree with you there. My heart wants to go Rams, and I'm pretty sure most of America wants the Rams to win outside of New England. But you got to go with your logical. You got to go with your senses. That basically that whole Rams team has never really been in a Super Bowl, apart from a few players such as Aqib Talib. But I think as I agree with you, I got to go with the Patriots in this one. Well, that's going to do it for us. But before we go, we got to recap last week's episode. We're giving away a T-shirt, the Bison Information Network T-shirt. What you got to do if you want to win this free T-shirt is you got to go to last week's episode of X's and O's Reloaded, go comment on that video, and subscribe to the channel. Got to comment below on that video why you want a free T-shirt, and whoever comes up with the best comment will get a free T-shirt. So
we'll be very selective in the comments that end up winning, so you better leave a good one.
Yeah, it better be pretty entertaining, pretty funny. Well, that's going to do it for us for Bison Information Network. I'm Joe Thompson.
And I'm Isak Dinesen.
Have a good night.